How's it, guys? Okay, so today we're talking swim jigs. So let me just take this trailer off here. Right, okay. So this is a basic swim jig. This particular one is the Guggen Squad Grass Hero swim jig. Okay. Basically, what a swim jig is, guys, it's exactly what it says. The name suggests it's a swimming jig. So it's got a tapered front so that it can come through grass and cover timber, etc., with ease. Okay, so it's basically it's a jig that's designed for swimming. Okay, so it comes through the cover quite easily. This particular one is quite nice. It's got the nice eye on it, which has got some flash to it. It's quite nice strong weed guard. They've also put on the Guggen one, they've got a nice thick skirt on it, which I like, because it gives you the flexibility between having a bulkier skirt, or you can trim it down. Obviously, if you get another sort of brand of swim jig and it's got less strands in the skirt, you can't really add to it. You can always cut away, but you can't add. So that allows me to, if I've got two of them, for example, I can trim one down if I want a more finesse presentation, and I can leave one just as it is. And if I'm going to trim it down, normally what I'd do is I'll just take a pair of scissors and I'd snip it just behind that hook. Okay, so that's generally what I do. I also might do a tinker that I might do as well. It's just cut it into a bit of a V shape just to give it a bit of a different flair. So there are a couple of things you can do with your skirt. Size-wise, 3/8 ounce for me is a really good size. 1/4 ounce as well. If you're fishing areas where there's not a hell of a lot of cover, you can get away with a lighter 1/4 ounce. A 3/8 ounce helps you when you're fishing, when you're casting over any kind of cover, be it weeds or grass or timber or anything like that. The heavier weight helps the bait fall back into the water. If as you're winding it up and over cover, that heavier weight gets it back into the water. You don't want fish trying to jump out of the water to try and get it. You want it to come right back into the water and stay in the water as you're winding it, keeps it down. So those are the two sizes. If you're going to buy one size, 3/8 ounces is a good one to buy. Nice strong hook. Most swim jigs should come with a nice heavy gauge hook. In this case, is a nice mustard hook on here. And then what's also really important is the keeper. So this has got two different keepers. I'm not sure if you can see it from there, but it's got the wire keeper here, and that's going to help with your elastic, like your Z-Man plastic that's made out of the elastic. And it's also got the other keeper here for your normal plastisol based brands. So that's really nice. I'm quite impressed with this swim jig from the Guggen Squad. It's got everything that a swim jig needs. Okay, so that's just the basics on that. When do I throw a swim jig? I throw a swim jig when water levels are up, when there's flooded grass, when fish are shallow. So generally, probably June, July, and August, it would quieten down a little bit. But like right now is a perfect time. May, your post-spawn. So from September, October, all the way through summertime, whenever you've got flooded grass, you've got a great opportunity. There's a real big window when fish are shallow, when you can see the bait are shallow, to catch fish on this. If I'm fishing a chatterbait and the bite quietens down on me, I often switch to a swim jig and I get those fish. So it's also about, we fish high pressure dams, and if you're fishing a venue where there's a lot of pressure and everyone's throwing the same thing, sometimes you want to switch it out a bit if the bite gets a bit slow, a bit quiet. That's one thing you can do. You can transition from the jackhammer, from a chatterbait that's got a lot of noise and vibration, to something less obtrusive like a swim jig. Color-wise, as well, in terms of swim jigs, white is a great color. I started fishing white swim jigs when I first fished swim jigs. White, black, blue, like this one here, and a bluegill type or a green pumpkin type. That's basically the combinations that I would use. I've had a lot of success on all three colors in clean water. I've had the benefit of being able to do a lot of my swim jig fishing at Albert Falls and Ananda in the really clean water, and that's helped me a lot in terms of the speed of how to fish it and watching fish come and actually eat it, and how to set the hook and those sorts of things. And also fishing that clean water, you realize that you can fish braid. You can fish braid. It's gin clean water. those big fish, this is a big fish catching machine, you know. Between the jackhammer and this, they really do catch big fish, and that's why I like to fish them, and that's why I recommend them to you guys, you know, to go fish them, because they do catch bigger than average fish, that's for sure. And yeah, so being able to get bites in crystal clear water gave me a tremendous amount of confidence, obviously in all water clarity scenarios, because you know, you obviously in clean water, fish have got a lot of time to analyze that prey item and see if it's, you know, real or not, or you know, can swim right up to it, and they do that. They swim right up to it sometimes and have a look at it, and then they just swallow it, you know. So yeah, I've had a big advantage, spent a lot of time fishing swim jigs, and it's a really, really good bait. So something like a Z-Man Turbo Crawl, if we just jumped onto trailers, would work really well. It does work. It's exceptionally durable, and it stays on that wire keeper very, very nicely. So good action. It's got those big vibey claws on it. And yeah, like I say, value for money, wild, because it doesn't break. It's a nice trailer. Okay, where do we start? Guys, I think what I want to talk about now, okay, this is one of my all-time favorites. It's the Rage, Striking Rage, the coffee scent, the Twin Tail Menace. Okay, it comes perfectly packaged, so you don't have any bent appendages and stuff. These baits are not cheap in general when it comes to bass fishing, so you know, you want it perfectly straight. Okay, so you just split that like so. It's got those awesome Rage flanges on it. It gives us some tremendous kicking action, and that's all it is. Nice body, quite sturdy, and it's going to hold up on that hook really, really nicely. Guys, most of us would rig this that way. Okay, and you know, when we look at bait fish themselves, they actually that way, you know, fish's tail is like that. It's not like that. You know, it's not a dolphin, to be honest. And that's why I think, that's where I see a lot of guys maybe not thinking outside the box in terms of the profile. You can see with this jackhammer, and you can see with this razor shad, the profile, you know, it looks like a fish. It's more natural, and when that comes buzzing past the fish, it looks natural and real, and there's a whole lot of commotion going on. But the profile's correct, and that's something I think a lot of guys are missing when it comes to a swim jig. So if you have a look at the bait, you won't be able to see it, unfortunately, on camera, but there is a seam that runs down it, obviously where it's molded, where it's joined. And what you guys want to do is you want to put the hook right in the center at the top and work your way down on that seam. And your hook point is going to come out dead straight on that seam. Hopefully you've estimated it correctly. Your length, your distance, and you push it on. Okay, guys, that is an absolute deadly deal right there. Your profile's correct. It's coming through the water like that, whereas a lot of guys would just be fishing it like a normal trailer, like so. So that profile, guys, makes a really big difference. Also, nice strong trailer, holds up really nicely, got a lovely action to it, really nice. You can always trim it down if you want to. You could get the hook to come a bit further back, but those big fish eat it. You just got to keep fishing. That's one of the advantages as well of a swim jig and a chatterbait as well, but let's stick to the swim jig for now. So you can cover a lot of water. If I'm fishing an area as well where there's thicker cover, this thing comes through the cover, whereas the chatterbait doesn't. So I'll kind of alternate between those two baits. This allows me to cover a tremendous amount of water. It allows me to attract bigger fish. They react to it, get those reaction bites. Definitely catches bigger fish. And like I say, I'm covering water, shallow water quickly, to get aggressive bites, to catch aggressive fish, and it's a hell of a fun way to fish as well. So yeah, when it comes to trailers, guys, I'll just run through a few of them. That's the Twin Tail. That's a beaut. Comes in a bunch of different colors. The Baby Rage Craw as well, another really good one. The famous Rage Bug, the Structure Bug, that's another absolute cracker. The Rage Swimmer, the paddle tail top, a bunch of different colors in those. Guggen Baits, Saucy Swimmer, always good. Guys, one tip when rigging these, and yeah, I'll just use this one. Generally I'd pair up the black and blue on here, but anyway, when you rig that upside down, because you know traditionally you'll see a lot of guys rigging it up that way, like a paddle tail that way. rigging it that way, guys, gives off a tremendous action. It really does. For me, it's a better action, so I'll rig it upside down. So have a look at that, play in the pool if you get a chance. But yeah, think about spinning your paddle tails the other way around. If you do that already and fishing that way, good for you. I think you guys are onto something there, so that's great. Bandito bug as well, very nice. It's got a great profile, good trailer. Another one's a good one. And the Guggen Crack and Crawl, same story. It's going to give off a lot of kicking action. So that's really cool. Then, guys, what I wanted to discuss, another thing I wanted to discuss quickly was contrast. So, and this is something, tournament-wise, we used to do what we call a 1-2 punch, where we're fishing a tournament. Let's say Michael Cannon and myself are fishing, James Van Rooyen and myself are fishing, and we're really onto a good swim jig bite. One thing we'd differentiate between the two of us fishing on the same boat is we'd either match the trailer, so black blue on a black blue, and then the other guy would do a contrast. So you'd take a watermelon red or a green pumpkin, and you'd do it the other way around, or you'd put your green pumpkin swim jig on, and you'd put the black and blue trailer on. So guys, sometimes those little things can make a big difference, and these are some really top tips that you guys can go out and try. So always be mindful of that, matching it or the contrast. So that's pretty good, guys. Fishing technique wise, it's actually pretty simple. It's a long cast, it's a slow wind back to the boat, and it's bumping it through the cover. You don't need to be rushed with it at all. You'll feel the bites, they slam down on it. 50-pound braid, we're fishing heavy cover, we want to be prepared for those big bites, guys. It's pointless going out there. You want to catch a big fish, you want to get your PB, and you aren't going equipped with the gear that you need. It just doesn't make sense to me. Hearing all the war stories of fish snapping off and breaking off, go out there prepared to catch a 3 or 4 kg fish. Have the gear set up ready, so when that fish bites you can put it in the boat, or and that's what I believe in. So I don't think you should undergun yourself. Yeah, guys, you can throw a swim jig. I've seen guys, and I've done it as well, throw it on 12-pound fluorocarbon, on 14-pound fluorocarbon. I don't specifically believe, in my opinion, with a lot of the clean water fishing that I've done, that it makes a tremendous difference. I don't think it does whether I'm fishing. I can fish this. This is Seaguar. It's the Stealth braid. Okay, Stealth grey is the color, the Smackdown. It's a high-quality braid. They eat it. They don't worry about that braid, guys. So for me, 50-pound braid, I've got all the strength and power in the world. Even if that fish eats me on the second wind as it lands on a long cast, I've got the power. Bang, I've got the braid that helps me, and I'll talk about the rod now as well, and I can set that hook over a long distance. Fish eats me right at the boat, I've got the right rod, the braid is right there, direct contact, strong hook, fish is in the boat. Don't have to get to the bank and talk about big stories. We lost one that was 7 kgs or whatever it is. We put that fish in the boat, put it on the scale, pulls the scale to 3.5 kilos. Job done, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, those are just a couple of brief tips there, guys, rod wise and reel wise. Okay, I fished the loose Crush. It's a 20-pound drag system. It is a absolute beast. It's got the big power handles on it as well, so I can just winch that fish, guys. It is a high-speed reel, 7.5 to 1. It really is a beautiful looking reel as well. Casts a mile. It's got the adjustments from the the different adjustments on your spool tensioning. Just really is a powerful reel. Handles the braid, handles those big fish, particularly lately at Albert Falls. And yeah, it's swim jig fishing is a great technique, nice guys, to get big fish, and this is the right reel to put those fish in the boat. I've had tremendous success. 10 bearings, absolute slick machine, can cast all day long. It's wonderful, guys. This is one of my favorite rods. This is the Pesca Pro Series Frog and Swim Jig rod. It's an absolute beauty. It's a 7'1". It's a heavy, fast action rod. It's rated. It can handle braids, 40 to 60-pound braid. It can handle up to a 3/4 of an ounce, 3/8 roundabout there. You could probably flick a 1/4 ounce on it as well, because it's got a beautiful tip to it, guys. It's going to be difficult for me to show it to you now, but it's got a beautiful tip action on it. So it allows you to just get such a nice cast. That's the one aspect. So you can get a beautiful cast on it. It's not like some of the other rods that I've, frog rods that I've fished from some really good brands, but it's like trying to cast a broomstick. It's really difficult. You can't get it to load up. You can't get any whip on it. You can't flick it out there. And that's why I spent a lot of time developing this particular rod, as I did with all the other rods, in the Pro Series range, so that you've got that tip. So it's not so hard labor intensive, casting the swim jig or your frog out there. So that tip's really important. And also it's really important when the fish comes in and hails this bait. You want to have you're fishing it on braid. You want that power. You want that direct hook set. You want the contact. But you've got to have some tip give there when that fish inhales it, so that it can get it in its mouth. Okay. Also a scenario where it eats it right at the boat, and there's other videos as well on a chatterbait and a jackhammer where you would have seen that if you've watched previous videos that I've done. Sometimes I eat it 3 meters from the boat, and that tip just gives you a little bit of time, gives a fish some time to get it in his mouth, and then you've got all that backbone on this. This is an absolute beast of a stick, just to set the hook into that fish, be it a 3 or 4 kg fish. Obviously we catch small fish on it as well, but I'm just saying, to be prepared for those big ones and putting those PBs in the boat. This is the gear to do it, guys. I hope I've covered the general idea of swim jig fishing for you. I think just bear those principles in mind, and I'm pretty sure that you guys will get out there and catch some fish on this bait, and maybe catch some good fish and put some big bags together. So yeah, guys, I hope it helps you catch more fish. So yeah, thanks for watching, and until next time, thanks guys, cheers man, bye.